the one constant variable that you still have is the other person on the other side viewing the website. And so it doesn't matter what you're selling, what the product is, or what you're trying to get them to do. It matters how they view the website and how they interact with it. We know every page, how far they scroll, what buttons they click on, what videos they watch, how far they watch them. And then we use all of that data in order to see where the drop-off is or where we can get them to actually perform the action that we want. We have a service that can essentially get the leads that are visiting your site that never left their information. And so you can start seeing who's browsing your site, what they're doing, what pages they landed on, what they searched to get there. So the ad agencies will be gone because I think AI can do it better than a human. I think that there's maybe some truth to that, but there's always the human element is needed and understanding. And so I don't think that that's going to happen as quickly as the platforms want, but I do think it'll happen.
Welcome back to the Hustle and Grind podcast, the show where we dig into why real entrepreneurs trade comfort for conviction. This isn't about vanity metrics or overnight success. It's about the stories behind building a reputation that actually matters. I'm your host, Andrew, keynote architect, platform builder, and fellow founder in the trenches. Today, I'm sitting down with Matthew Stafford, the entrepreneur and e-commerce optimization expert who's been helping online stores boost profits and scale to 7- and 8-figure success for over 30 years through his company, Build, Grow, Scale. So Matthew, thank you so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate you being here, especially with somebody the level of experience that you have. It's an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. So I know we hear everything in the intro. Intros don't always reflect exactly what we do or kind of how we would say it. So let's start off with this question. What is your ninja skill? What are you really good at?
Well, I would say for my day job, I'm extremely good at the customer journey, figuring out once somebody lands on your website to get them to take the most important action that's relevant for what you're trying to get. So some sites that's an opt-in, some sites it's book a call, others it's sell physical products. And so really I've been studying the buyer psychology for the last 10-12 years of how people interact with the website, and I've seemed to nail that down pretty good.
And I think that's something that is a hot button, issue right now. There's so many websites out there. There's so much information out there. And especially with AI, that's growing exponentially. How do we differentiate ourselves? Is there, I'm assuming it's not a one size fits all thing. Are there different strategies for different products? Is B2B different than B2C? I know it's a really broad question, but what do you look at?
It's a good question. A lot of people ask me that, and I think they're surprised by my answer. And I tell them, no, it's not a lot different. And the reason why I say that is because of the one constant variable that you still have is the other person on the other side viewing the website. And so it doesn't matter what you're selling, what the product is, or what you're trying to get them to do. It matters how they view the website and how they interact with it. And so that is pretty standard, and we've been able to optimize that and understand with a few core principles where to look at the website and figure out how to make it perform better.
And I don't think people truly understand what that means. I think they just mean, hey, I'm going to go look at this copy. This could convert better. Let's do what some of technologies do you guys use to do this?
We use Tag Manager and Google Analytics very extensively. So when we go in and tag a site, we know every page, how far they scroll, what buttons they click on, what videos they watch, how far they watch them, what menu navigation, if they put their email in the form and then exited, everything. And then we use all of that data in order to see where the drop-off is or where we can get them to actually perform the action that we want. So we find places that's winning, go there and look and see why it's winning, and then try to replicate that at as many places on the site as possible.
Because I think a lot of people, they understand that Facebook's selling your data. They understand there's a lot of data out there. I don't know if they truly understand the volume of data that we capture.
Yeah.
when I first saw a heat map on a website, I'm like, this is stalker level statistics.
Yeah, and it's even getting way better now. We have a service that can essentially get the leads that are visiting your site that never left their information, and then resolve those on about a 30% match rate. Tell you whether they're married, have children, own their homes, all of this other stuff. I think it's 150 data points, and so you can start seeing who's browsing your site, what they're doing, what pages they landed on, what they searched to get there. The amount of data that's available, if you use it, you can dominate your niche, because if you think about it, most sites convert around 2 or 3%. And I used to be really good at Facebook and ad traffic, and I got burned out and I didn't want to do it anymore. That's when I started going through the data on our sites and realized, wow, if I fix this, then my ads work better. And the more that I went down that rabbit hole, the more I liked it. And now I haven't run ads in 10 years. But essentially, if you think about it, 2 or 3 people out of 100 took the action that you wanted them to, and then the other 97 left, and everybody thinks, oh, I need more traffic. And to me, it was like, I have 97 warm leads that people visited my site, didn't buy. Let me find 2 or 3 more of them to convert, and I just doubled my business on the same amount of ad spend, rather than trying to go spend another 100 visitors for another 3 sales.
Yeah. And, it's something we hear about. It's something that we think is there. You think, oh, you just put up a website. There's a lot more to it. And there's just, now let's go in this direction too, because I know, especially if you're running a company, you run into chief everything officer syndrome, or you run into a situation where all this data is out there and you have no idea what the hell to do with it. Because it's, lots of data is great, but it's not useful if we can't actually interpret it. What are some of the things you would say to business owners if they think, hey, I want that cool new thing, and they have shiny object syndrome? It's like, hey, that's cool. I want that. I want data. I had somebody say this to me once. I'm like, okay, that's not quantifiable. What would you say to them? Like, how would you be able to help with it? What are some of these things that you're talking about, and how can it be relatable to the average person?
Yeah, obviously, we have a team of 25, 26 people that literally look at data all day, every day. So that's what we're great at. But the truth of the matter is, like, we've tagged a lot of sites, and then a year later you ask, or I see the owner and ask them how they're using the data, and they're like, oh man, I really need to, I haven't been, And so what I've learned is the data is worthless if you're not going to look at it. Yeah. What matters the most is that you build something that's sustainable. Mm-hmm. So maybe when we tag the site, build a dashboard that has like the 5 or 6 things that are the key metrics you need to know. And then you don't have to go search for it in that data. You literally just click a button and it will give you date ranges, and you can look at it. Very simple. It's called Data Studio, and it works really, really well. And we build that for our customers now. But you need to understand what data is important, because there's way more data than what you need for all different purposes. It depends on what you're using it for, and then get a dashboard that is specific to that, because then you can use the data to actually make educated decisions instead of throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and trying to figure out what sticks. And a lot of times, because they don't know how to look at the data, they don't know why it won, or which one's winning better than the other one, or vice versa. And so, yeah, it really requires that you have a commitment to it, and then you just chunk it down. And I'm going to learn a little bit. And 6 months later, you look back and realize, you're in a whole different league as far as how you understand it.
Exactly. And the data drives your decisions, where it's another input versus just guessing at a website going, I think this page is working, or I have, more page views on this page. There's more than we can do.
We are very specific. Like, we tell people that it's product agnostic. Mm-hmm. We're really looking at the data based off of what the actions people are taking on the page, and you can make some fairly strong assumptions of what they're doing or why they're leaving based off of the trends that you see in the data.
Yeah. So how did you get into this? Like, what was the series of events that brought you to become, the website data nerd? And I say nerd with a lot of love.
Oh yeah. No, I take it. I always make the joke. I love it when you talk data to me.
See, I have a friend with a T-shirt that says "Freak in the spreadsheets."
Same idea.
Same thing.
So I really didn't have a clear path to what I'm doing now. In fact, I did manual labor in commercial concrete for 23 years. And so we were pouring concrete for Menards and Home Depot and Lowe's, all these big box stores. And so I was on the road 200 days a year running my company, pouring concrete all around in the United States. And I went to a Tony Robbins event, and he was selling a program called Money Masters, which was each month he would send you a new DVD and a booklet on how these people were using the internet to make money. And the first one I got was Frank Kern on selling an ebook on how to teach your parrot to talk. And I think the second one was either Dean Jackson or Russell Brunson, and selling the potato gun.
Yeah.
And so they were going through these different things, and I was looking at that going, wow, that's amazing. The first thing that I saw from it is I could work from home and not have to live on the road 200 days a year, or 60,000 miles in the vehicle and hotel rooms, etc. This is worth looking into. And so I started playing around. In the first year, I kind of dabbled in SEO, and I did it while I was still running my concrete business and pouring concrete, and I didn't enjoy it. And so from there, I started looking into like a product that I could sell, and a platform came out called Teespring, which is where you could put a design on a t-shirt and then run ads to it. And when the campaign ended, however many you sold, they would print them and fulfill them. So I didn't have to worry about all of the other stuff. All I had to do was come up with a design that people would want, that they would buy, and then the printing and fulfilling was done, and I'd get a check for the difference. And it took me, 8 or 10 designs, but I finally found one that hit really well. And that shirt ended up doing over $100,000 in sales in like 10, 12 days. And I thought, oh, wow, this is like real money. And if I can start replicating this, I could figure a way out of what I'm doing. And so I kind of set a goal to sell the concrete business and the 2 brick and mortar salons and go online full time within 5 years. And in the first 3.5 years of the t-shirt business, we ended up selling about $15 million for the t-shirts. So it was a lot, and did very well. And after that, the platform made some dumb decisions. They wouldn't give us our data, so we didn't have all the people that were buying in order to sell them more stuff. And so that's when we switched over to Shopify, started building our sites on Shopify where we owned the data. And from there, the first store I had was selling really well. And then over about a 6-month period, I started adding stuff to it and upsells and all these other things. It got less and less profitable and started to cost money some days, break even other days, do real well on some days. And I was like, man, this is not good. I got about $250,000 in the warehouse out back of products. I got to figure it out. And a guy online was selling six educational calls on how to use Google Analytics for $1,000. And so I took it, and within 6 weeks, I had my site back to selling 300 sales a day and making money. And from there, I just started deep diving into it and really, really enjoy it. Love it a lot better than running ads.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's one of the things we think of as ads is the only way to do it. And especially when you're talking about being able to collect user data of people that haven't even signed up for it, or haven't even entered their email address at this point. I think, ads have their place, but again, like you're saying, I don't think there's something that's going to be the end all and be all. I think that's what we jump to by default. We put a huge amount of money towards ads,
and it continues to get more and more expensive. So learning how to use the data to be more efficient, and actually even capturing data on these people that haven't given you their information yet, allows you to reverse engineer a lot of what you're doing and get better and better at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So where do you see this going? Because I know AI is running everything at this point, and there's a lot of changes that I think are going to happen in the future. What do you think is going to happen with ads and with using these types of data? Like, get your crystal ball out.
Yeah, I think AI, the platforms are talking about people being able to run their own ads. So the ad agencies will be gone because they think AI can do it better than a human.
Mm.
I think that there's maybe some truth to that, but there's always the human element is needed and understanding. And so I don't think that that's going to happen as quickly as the platforms want, but I do think it'll happen. And we even see it happen in the CRO, in the CRO world. We're using AI every day to become more efficient. And the amount of data that we can go through now with AI compared to what we had to do it manually before, we're turning out some of the biggest wins we've ever had in the last 6 months compared to the last 12 years because of using AI first and really getting it to pinpoint or shine a light on the areas that need the most help that maybe we wouldn't have caught by having to do it manually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a powerful tool. I don't quite think it's going to be the miracle cure that I think everyone thinks it's going to be, but it is a very powerful tool, and I know it's going to change the way that things happen.
I think the way that we look at it is it doesn't replace people; it turns people into super employees. Yeah. So if you can use AI as your strategic thinking partner, or have it perform a lot of the actions that it's really good at, like it's got a PhD level that most of us don't have in a lot of areas, and so learning to use it and be familiar with it is just going to put you ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. So let's switch to business for a second here, because I know you've had a bunch of different changes and you've gone to a couple of different careers. What's one thing that you would tell people, especially if they're first starting? What's one piece of advice you would give them? Like something that you wish, if you could have a time machine, go back and give yourself some advice in the past based on what you learned now over 30 some odd years of being in business. What do you think?
Hire a mentor right away. Mm-hmm. You're basically paying to cut the line. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do that. And a lot of the times, I always thought like I'm smart and I'm a good worker. I'll just figure it out. Mm-hmm. And I've made a lot of mistakes and run into the brick wall 100 times before breaking through it. And so as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot wiser and realized that I don't have to figure it all out. There's lots of really smart people that want to share and want to help. And leveraging that allows you to move, exponentially rather than linearly.
Because, as entrepreneurs, we never try to figure it out on our own. We never try to figure it out. It's like totally not a thing we do. I think it's part of being an entrepreneur is screwing stuff up and trying to figure it out. But I think, for me, mentors and having a close clan of people who are doing the same thing I'm doing that I can just go to. Yeah. Had a really good chat with a good friend of mine last night and just, venting. Sometimes you just need somebody around you who knows this, who's been there, who's in the trenches, who understands what's happening, just to be able to help guide.
When you say it out loud to somebody, it feels a lot different and it sounds a lot different than when you're just mulling it around in your head.
Yeah.
I have several people that I coach, and that's what, they'll go, man, it sounded like felt like such a good idea when it was in my head, but when I say it out loud, now I can poke a lot of holes in it. I'm like, that's exactly what it does. So having someone to talk to and provide that mirror is super valuable. And that's why you see all the most successful people all have coaches of some sort for different areas of their life, because they're called blind spots for a reason. It's a spot that you can't see on your own. You need someone else to, mirror it back to you so you can understand where your roadblocks are.
Yeah. We do it in the speaker world as well. There's sometimes when you read something on paper, and often I'll have clients actually, record a video and read this off to me. And I've had a lot of folks say it sounds totally different when it's not. It's exactly the same words. It's just sometimes when we hear it, it's a different perspective on it. So. Yeah. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for being on today. Really, really appreciate you being here and dropping some wisdom and letting us know a little bit more about kind of what, websites and all some of the stalker level data that we can use and your backstory as well. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle and Grind podcast, where we unpack what it really takes to build something that matters. If today's conversation hit home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who's in the trenches too. And if you're building your own brand, platform, or message and want help turning that story into serious authority, head over to theauthorityforge.com to see how we can help. Until next time, keep showing up, keep shipping, and keep chasing the work that sets you on fire. I'm Andrew, and this was the Hustle and Grind Podcast.